The
They're finally
JFK
released,
files have
buddy.
been released, guys. 80,000 pages, is it? Or something like that?
But this is what the smart people do, way smarter than me. You put those files in the chat GPT, and then you have them give you a summary.
There you go.
And that's what I did.
You did.
Yes.
Very smart. I believe that there's nothing to see
Israel.
here.
What?
It's not Israel.
No, it's crazy. Can you believe it?
But there's nothing in it about Israel, is there?
Oh, you see, you know what you did?
I didn't do anything.
You haven't looked into it?
No, I just...
I don't have a side here. The man's dead. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But it's just confirmation for the hardcores that the CIA, the Israel, and the mafia basically all work together to get this done. That's what it is. But
Wait,
that's what it is.
Is there a smoking gun there? Did you?
There's really no smoke. It's just they're all in cahoots. Like there's a lot of evidence, especially in like facts, that they were behind it.
Give me. I'm going to need something, sir, that I can point to. You're going to have to give me something.
Well, this one's interesting. Go to. So the CIA requested that redact all the Israel talk in there. It was mentioned so many times.
Interesting.
But that one's whatever. Now, the reason why Israel's important, because remember at the time, JFK, he had a meeting, right? And they didn't want him, they wanted to go to war with Cuba. They wanted to give missiles to Israel. And JFK was like, hold up. He saw all the money. And it was just this business like warfare was. He's like, I'm not doing any of this shit. Realized CIA was lying to him. He was like, no, I'm not, I don't want to be involved with any of this. And he wanted to shut down the CIA. That's where they're like, oh, we tried to play nice.
He definitely wanted. He definitely knew that
he wanted to
CIA
expose
was
the CIA.
behaving extrajudiciously.
Yes.
They were doing things on their own.
Yeah, and he was like, nah. So he was trying to expose them and basically shut it down. The CIA went, okay, say less. So then Israel wanted nukes. He's like, that's not happening. We're not giving you nukes. That's not happening. And then also in Cuba, the mafia had big ties into the gambling out there. So they want to take out Castro. And the CIA's like, yeah, we got to go to war with Cuba. And JFK's like, no, that's not on us.
Well, they already tried with the Bay of Pigs before.
Correct.
Bay of Pigs was a
which
huge
he didn't
disaster.
support.
Right.
Which he didn't support, remember. So, I mean, the Israel, trying to take out before these files got released, they want to redact all the mentions of Israel.
That's
and their
very
praise in it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Israel is literally the only thing they're requesting to be redacted.
And it's all over.
I mean,
and it's all over.
There you go. That makes sense.
And
that's why they never made them public, because this was pointing to Israeli collusion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mossad.
Wow. Mossad might have assassinated an American president.
It seems like it was, but
that's why Israel couldn't have that out there.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
But there's no smoking gun that's just one guy and like all.
Well, Jack Ruby, his last name is
Jewish,
Rubenstein.
yes.
Yeah.
And now
he was afraid that the Jews would be blamed for it. That's what he said.
Yeah, but Jack Rubenstein also met with Lee Harvey Oswald a week before the assassination.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
So he knew him?
Yes, they knew each other.
There's something here.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh,
you got to look more into it. It's fun. I think it's fun. You can't change anything. It's fun.
Well, wait a minute.
At this point, it's fun. But then
Jack Ruby allegedly met with Lee Harvey Oswald at a nightclub weeks before JFK was killed.
Yes.
What's that tell you?
And then Jack Ruby was he wasn't high up in the Jewish mafia, but he was like
he actually had connections to the mob.
Oh, he ran planes for them, sold plane equipment in Texas.
So is it possible Jack Rubenstein was a Mossad asset?
Low level, they didn't want what's interesting about Lee Harvey Oswald is the CIA was tracking him for like 4 years before he did this. So he didn't really have any, it doesn't seem like it. I haven't read through all of it. He didn't really have help, but they intercepted his mail before it came to him and knew he was playing this and just didn't stop it.
But wait.
And now I know you're going to go off on this. I think similar to the Trump assassination, I think they're aware that there was an attempt and they're like, okay, good luck. If it happens, like with Lee. I know you. Hear me out.
Go with this.
With Lee Harvey Oswald, they were tracking him for years.
Yeah.
He's a communist, right? Supports Russia. Went out to Russia.
They were tracking him
for 4 years before all this.
Okay.
He was on their radar like a motherfucker. He never got taken off. They intercepted his mail. Was well aware that he wanted to take out JFK.
Okay,
and
so
then
he did.
Yeah, and then they went okay.
Okay.
So they didn't help him. They didn't stop him.
So here's a theory.
Which is basically helping.
Here's the theory then. Is the theory then that they knew that they had this guy who wanted to kill JFK? He was an American who went to Cuba and I think the USSR and all that. Okay. Is it possible, since he met with Jack Ruby, that Ruby was working on behalf of Mossad or Israel, and Ruby said, we want you to kill the president. We're going to set you up here, do this, that, and the other thing. He kills him, and then Ruby knows he's going to kill, then he has to shoot Oswald to keep him quiet.
Yeah. There's
Wow.
that. And then Ruby was,
Because obviously
dead in
Ruby had
prison.
to kill him because he knew he was going to be fingered on this.
Yep. Now, what's else interesting? Do you have that other article I sent you, Chin? There's a CIA operative who which one's this? That's the Israeli intelligence. So this one's interesting. This is super interesting. So this is from Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk goes, I think this is the most interesting out of all the documents. So this is from the files. I'm not, just bullshitting here. So he goes, the day after the assassinations, Gary Underhill, who's a major character in all this, Gary Underhill left Washington in a hurry.
Look up who Gary Underhill is after this. Hold on.
He works for the CIA. Late in the evening, he showed up at a home of a friend's in New Jersey. He was very agitated. A small clique within the CIA was responsible, and he says, a small clique was responsible for the assassination. He confided, and he was afraid for his life. And ready for this? Would have leave the country. Less than 6 months later, Underhill was found shot to death in his Washington apartment. Was ruled a suicide. The
coroner ruled it a suicide.
Underhill had been an intelligence agent during World War II, was recognized as authority on limited warfare and small arms.
A researcher and writer on military affairs, he was on a first-name basis with many of the top brass in the Pentagon. He was also on intimate terms with a number of high-ranking CIA officials. He was one of the agency's people who performed special assignments. At one time, he had been a friend of Samuel Cummings of Interarmarco, the arms broker that numbers among its customers the CIA and ironically Klein's Sporting Goods of Chicago, from whence the mail order Carsano allegedly was purchased. The gun.
Yes.
Oh
bought
shit!
The gun from them.
Dude, listen, come on. I'm sorry. Hey, guess what? I want to apologize to everybody because I've always been skeptical.
You have,
and now I 100% believe the CIA was involved. The small clique in the CIA, which was working with Israel?
Mossad, Israel, and then also the Chicago Mafia, which is Jewish.
Wait, but then that's high treason because it's not Israel, though, right? It would be the small clique within the CIA, unless the small clique in the CIA is Jewish and they were actually double agents for Israel.
It seems like there was those three corporations were all involved in making sure this got done. Because Kennedy was against war, against sending nukes to Israel. Wow. Was trying to shut down the mafia.
This is wild.
Cuba, yeah.
This is wild.
It's interesting.
It also makes sense as to why why this has been kept secret for so long, because Israel has a lot of sway over American politics, and for that matter, probably
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the reasons for that is AIPAC, and again, I don't like these conspiracies, and I'm not saying anything anti-Semitic or anything else, but it is true if you are a politician, if you don't show loyalty to Israel, you're going to have a hard time because there's a lot of money that comes from those channels that keep people, as Sheldon Adelson, before he died, you were not running, you were not going to be a Republican senator or congressman unless you kiss that ring.
I mean, you got to give it up to the Israel. I mean, the power.
But let me just for all you guys out there who don't like Israel and don't like Jews and all that, let me just please say a couple things about that. When you are a tiny minority in the world, and you're responsible for also all the things you guys enjoy, like, I don't know if you like Hollywood, if you like all the stories, half the songs Elvis sang, they were written by a Jewish guy who I knew. We can keep going. If you like stainless steel, if you like the Geiger counter, if you like virtual reality, all these things, if you look at the contribution that this tiny minority has given us as innovators, they also knew throughout history that they were always the scapegoat. They were always the one that were going to be killed. Always, always, always. They were blamed for Christ's death and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, if you're
they might be guilty of some of that stuff.
But if you're
it's okay to say that they did some bad things. They're involved in some bad.
But if your survival depends on, if your survival depends on something, and you're surrounded by everybody who wants to kill you, you're going to figure out a way to game the most powerful country in the world for your own survival.
Sure.
And that's always been the case. And if you didn't do that, you did what? You went back to the ovens of Dachau and Treblinka and Auschwitz. So we can keep going with that. But I see there's a lot of anti-Semitism in the world right now, and there's a lot of blaming Israel.
This ain't going to help.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's not.
No.
It's not. They're
a powerful bunch. You got to show a little respect.
Well,
powerful bunch.
Creative, innovative.
Powerful bunch.
Over half the white volunteers during the civil rights movement in this country that were there to march for black liberation, over half the white volunteers were Jewish.
Yeah.
How about that?
Powerful bunch.
Yeah. Great innovators, but
bad athletes.
Probably not the best athletes. As my friend his son is Jewish.
Powerful bunch.
His son's Jewish. This is great. My friend's son is Jewish, really athletic kid, kicking ass, obsessed with basketball. His dad goes, listen to me right now. Listen to me right now. We're Jewish. You're not ever playing in the NBA. It's not happening. But have fun.
Could probably
have fun. Get out there and hustle.
You could probably own a team.
Fantastic.
Powerful bunch.